want to welcome Nikki Farley, our guest pianist today. What a great day it is. A great day to be outside, a great day to be together in here. And as we say every Sunday, whoever you are and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. I invite you to stand as you're able. Begin with our opening songs. First, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. And our next song, Oh, for a World Where Everyone Respects Each Other's Ways. A song dreaming of a future where we can all live together in peace.
Oh, trailer tire. I think it's from the farmer's market trailer tire. I'm just gonna sign it over to the community.
As we find our way back to our seats, invite you into a time of prayer beginning with our centering song, Spirit of Life, Come Unto Me. Pray together in one voice.
Creating God, we pause to offer you thanks for all the gifts you give us. In return, we offer our lives to help build beloved community right here, right now. Sometimes that process involves speaking unpopular truths, calling attention to things which hold us back. Help us to be prophetic and point to changes we must make in our world in order to become a beloved community. Give us courage to be the change we want to see. Lead us in the silence as we open ourselves to your Spirit.
We respond together.
We can feel the power of prophetic voices in our midst. We are ready to be part of the solution. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Invite the young folks to come meet me up here while we sing our song, Welcoming Him. Looks like you're ready to rock and roll, aren't you, Colton? So what's happening? Yes? You ate monkey bread this morning. That's awesome. Did you bring any for me? You ate it all. That's good. That's good. So are you ready for summer? It feels like it's finally here. There's all this great sunshine outside. You can play outside, have lots of fun. But I want to talk to you about something a little more serious today. Telling the truth. Do you know what the truth is?
Something that isn't a lie of what
something that isn't a lie and that actually happened. That's a good definition. You know, I can remember when I was a kid, my mother would come to us and say, okay, I know nobody did it, so I'm not even going to ask. So something would happen and my mother would know one of us did it, but we wouldn't say, yes, it was me. We'd say, not me, nobody did it. And that's not telling the truth, is it? No. So I want to encourage you to own up to things. You know, when I was a grown-up and working in an office in San Francisco, I was kind of the office manager, and I learned pretty quickly, if I did something wrong, the quicker I admitted I did it wrong, the quicker people forgave me. If I tried to tell a lie and say, I don't know what happened, well, when it finally came back to me, I was in big trouble. But if I said, I goofed, I'm really sorry, everybody said, oh, don't worry about it, it'll be fine. So telling the truth is actually a good thing. There might be some moments of uncomfortableness when you have to say, I did something wrong and I'm sorry. But usually if you say that, people will forgive you. So I want you to tell the truth, not tell lies. Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know it. I was trying to find it.
That's right, so now you can hear it. I think maybe my battery's
I lost signal, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's have a prayer and send you off to class, okay? Dear God, thank you for helping us to remember to tell the truth as we know it. Help us to own up when we've done things wrong and be quick to forgive others when they tell us the truth. In your many beautiful names. Amen. Amen. Okay. Let's go. We'll sing our children belong. Welcome as part of the worshiping throng. Water God's word, bread and cup, prayer and song. This is where children belong. For our Now Testament reading this morning, I chose a poem by John O'Donohue called A Morning Blessing. I bless the night that nourished my heart to set the ghosts of longing free, into the flow and figure of dreams that went to harvest from the dark, bread for the hunger no one sees. All that is eternal in me, welcome the wonder of this day, the field of brightness it creates, offering time for each thing to arise and illuminate. I place on the altar of dawn the quiet loyalty of breath, the tent of thought where I shelter, wave of desire I am shore to, and all beauty drawn to the eye. May my mind come alive today to the invisible geography that invites me to new frontiers, to break the dead shell of yesterdays, to risk being disturbed and changed. May I have the courage today to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but do at last what I came here for, and waste my heart on fear no more. I invite you to remain seated as we sing our song, Open My Eyes.
Help me to see your face.
I'd invite Carrie to come bring us the morning scripture passage.
Good morning. Good morning. Today's reading is from 1 Corinthians 14, 1 through 5 from the Inclusive Bible. Paul points out the value of the gift of prophecy. So pursue the way of love, but earnestly desire spiritual gifts as well, especially the gift of prophecy. Those who speak in tongues do not speak to us, but to God, for no one understands them when they talk in the Spirit about mysterious things. On the other hand, those who prophesy do talk to us, and they do so for our edification, encouragement, and comfort. Those who speak in tongues benefit only themselves, but those who prophesy benefit all the church. While I would like all of you to speak in tongues, I would much rather that you prophesy, because those who prophesy are more important than those who speak in tongues, unless they also interpret, in which case the church benefits too.
Yes, we're focusing on telling the truth this morning. The spiritual gift we're looking at today is the gift of prophecy as we come for the end of our 7-week series on gifts of the Spirit. There's one left for next Sunday, and that's leadership. But we have the gift of prophecy today. And Paul is pretty clear about this gift in this section of the first letter to the Corinthians. It's interesting that he lifts up two things together, two gifts of the Spirit. One, speaking in tongues, and one, the gift of prophecy. Speaking in tongues, according to Paul, they're both relationships with God. They're both connections with God. Speaking in tongues for Paul seems like a much more personal thing. And if any of you have been in a Pentecostal situation where people speak in tongues, it's truly amazing. It's a little scary for those of us who aren't used to that, and we're definitely not Pentecostal in this place. But we try to be, because it's the season of Pentecost, right? So this speaking in tongues is a language that it's very musical, interesting kind of a sound, and especially when more than one person is speaking in tongues at the same time. There's this kind of whoosh that fills the room. It's an amazing thing. Paul says that that's basically an intimate connection of an individual with God. And Paul is looking to help the Corinthians build up their community. So he's looking for folks who can share that gift with others. And what he does eventually say at the end is that, indeed, if you speak in tongues and can interpret, that's a good thing for the body of the church as well. But we're going to focus on the gift of prophecy. So, in order to somebody to prophesy, you need a prophet. All right? What's a prophet? It comes from the Greek word prophetes. Pro meaning forth, and phetes meaning telling. So someone who tells forth. And the biblical kind of interpretation of prophet is, well, two of them. In the Greek writings, an interpreter of oracles or other hidden things. So a prophet interprets what the oracles have said. And in the Bible, one who, moved by the Spirit of God, solemnly declares to humanity what has been received by inspiration. Both of these feel kind of like this, I don't know what. It's not something that's you and me, right? Feels like there's prophets who are very special people, and only a few people are called to be prophets. I think it's important to acknowledge that. We have in our own Hebrew Bible prophets. There are 5 major prophets and 12 minor prophets. The major ones are major because they're longer. Does anybody know any of the major prophets off the top of your head? Isaiah. Jeremiah. Okay, we got the gist. What about some of the minor prophets? Amos. Micah? Nehemiah is, yes. Daniel? Okay, Rodney's favorite is Daniel. We talked about this in Bible study. So you understand that these writings in the Bible are for people who are sharing their prophecy, not always willingly. Very often prophets are called into their prophetic mission unwillingly. They're saying, no, not me, not me. We see this very often in the Bible. But what I want to focus on is the way that we can be prophetic in our own lives. And if you saw the sign this week, this is on the sign. And this is written by me. A true prophet shines a light on the present so we can see where we are going. Now, on the surface, that might feel a little odd. Shines a light on the present so we can see where we're going. But I think prophets are present tellers. They talk about what's happening now as a way of helping us imagine where that might lead. So a present teller illuminates what's happening now so we can figure out what we need to do to get where we want to go. Who are some prophets in our time? Who are people you think are present tellers that help us see what's going on now and where that might be?
Marcus Borg.
Marcus Borg. Marcus Borg was an incredible prophetic voice helping us see what's happening now and where that might lead us.
Our pastor.
Our pastor. Okay, I'll take some of that. Anybody else?
Noam Chomsky.
Noam Chomsky. I think if you think about it, there are lots of folks who, not necessarily in a religious context, but who are prophetic by helping us see what's happening. You got one?
Well, a group of people, anyone who's talking about climate change and what's
Right,
going to do.
right. Folks talking about climate change are prophetic voices because they're saying, if we keep doing what we're doing now, this is where we're going to wind up. But if we can change what we're doing now, we might wind up here. I think this is a really important point because I think in some ways we can all be prophetic. It's not always a comfortable thing, however, because climate change, for instance, a lot of people don't want to hear that because the implications of it are we have to change. And it's going to cost. So being a prophet, and I think if you could ask any of those biblical prophets, they'd tell you the same. They were not very popular. They were not very popular because they were telling the truth. And in our time, I think it's critical for us to tell the truth to each other. And not in the sense of all these huge global issues, but in our relationships with each other. We can be prophetic by saying, I'm having a problem right now because this is what it feels like to me is going on between us. And I want to speak my truth into that place. Now, we've all, members of this congregation, signed a covenant, a congregational covenant, which says that we will follow those kinds of paths where we have those kinds of conversations. And when someone steps on us, we need to say, that doesn't feel good to me. Can we talk about it? So you can be prophetic in any number of ways. In the big ways, by speaking for climate change. The thing that Aaron, the Portland Harbor group, was that thing yesterday? They had a big event. Anyway, Aaron Goodling has been involved with the group to clean up the Portland Harbor. That's prophetic ministry, whether she would admit it or not. It is prophetic ministry because it helps us see if we don't change, things are going to get worse. If we can't find ways to live together on this planet. So, my friends, have courage. Even speak the truth even when your voice shakes. And that happens sometimes. But it's critical that, especially in community, we can speak the truth to each other and to help us move forward together to that dream of a future that we have both for this group of people and for the neighborhood beyond our doors and the world beyond those doors. So get ready. You're being called to prophesy. One of the ways that we can help share the good news that we know is given to us is by giving from our own abundance. Ushers will receive our morning offering. We come to this time of prayer, a time when we ask what prayers you bring with you on this day. Prayers of grief, prayers of joy, prayers of concern. What do you bring with you this morning?
Prayers for the family of my colleague Alyssa, who passed away this week from lung cancer. She's in her late 30s.
Prayers for the family of Cecilia's co-worker Alyssa, who passed this week of lung cancer in her late 30s. She's in her 30s. Prayers for her family. God of love.
We thank you for your grace.
Yes.
Prayers for Linda Loeffler, that she can
Prayers for Linda Loeffler as that she can get relief from pain and on the road to healing. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
Continued prayers for my niece Tara, as she struggles in life, and then prayers for my oldest sister Bambi, who's her mother, who is going to move back to Nebraska to help Tara out.
Prayers for Cammie's niece Tara and her sister Bambi, Tara's mother. Bambi is moving back to Nebraska to help Tara through a difficult time in her life. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
Yes.
Prayers and thanks for my son's turning 30 on Tuesday.
This is not possible. Rodney offers prayers of thanksgiving as his son turns 30 this week. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
And I'm going to piggyback on that and offer prayers of thanks for my father who turns 96. Six this week.
Wow.
God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
Isn't that?
Prayers of thanks. Yesterday, I attended my future daughter-in-law's wedding anniversary, and I went to my niece's graduation from George Fox in Hood River, just for all the family time and everyone getting along and having a good time and being blessed.
Vicky has a heart full of thanks for the bridal shower for her future daughter-in-law, for our graduation at George Fox, and for a trip to Hood River. Thankful for all kinds of family things. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
Prayers for peace and nonviolence. Yesterday there was another shooting in our neighborhood on Gleason near 205. Two cars shooting at each other, possibly gang-related. Prayers of thanks that more people were not hurt. It could have been an absolute disaster. And prayers for those involved. May they realize that it is not the end.
Prayers for peace and understanding. Prayers of thanksgiving that in the incident yesterday near 205, a shooting incident. Prayers for those who perpetrated that incident, that they can turn their lives to see that violence doesn't accomplish anything. Prayers for peace and nonviolence across the globe. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
Prayers of thanksgiving for Liz Durant and her call to ordained minister.
Yes, prayers of thanksgiving for Liz Durant, who's been called as the assistant pastor at First Congregational Church downtown, and will be ordained soon. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
And prayers of thanksgiving for Louisa's safe return from her trip to New York. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
We have my stepson and his fiance are getting married on Friday the 1st, and so just prayers of blessings that as they start their life, do great things.
Wedding blessings for Cammie's stepson and his fiance who are getting married on Friday. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
For those affected by the flooding in West Virginia and the fires in California.
Yes, for all those who are suffering from natural disasters, flooding, fire, heat, may they find safety and comfort. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
Prayers combating all fears as I take 5 airplanes starting next Friday, and coming back Friday, and that there'll be wonderful visits with my son in New York and daughter in Atlanta, and the layover in Detroit will be good. I won't be stranded in Detroit, and yeah. Fear.
Traveling mercies for Diana on a very complicated trip to visit her son and daughter on the East Coast. God of love.
Thank you for your